is the 29th. All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our morning note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning. It is Monday, March 29, 2021. Let's go ahead and talk market, shall we? Before we begin, make sure to click bottom right-hand corner of your screen. There's a little logo there. Click that. Subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos, and like our videos. Really do appreciate it as always. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter for all the day's updates and news in the morning, everything you need to know live during market session. It's a lot easier to do it on Twitter because you get the news like that right away instead of Instagram. Sometimes you may not see our stuff ahead of time. To write a bunch of stuff in regards to news on Instagram isn't very practical. On Twitter it is. So again, if you're all about news and you like the morning note and everything like that, Twitter's your best friend. At G.A.R Capital, turn on notifications, give us a follow. We're nearly 10,000 followers. Really close there. Once we do, we'll do a live trading session with me, with everybody, answer questions, teach a little something here and there. It'll be fun. We usually do it when we hit some milestones like that. So pretty cool stuff. Of course, and if you follow us on Instagram, that's great too. I do our market recap videos on YouTube. So I kind of split it up this way. Monday mornings, YouTube. Afternoons during market session, you want to be on Twitter for all the commentary, all the news, all the information you need, charts and everything like that. And then in the afternoon, join us on Instagram for our market recap. So I try to spread it out so just in case anyone has their favorite platform, they don't miss something. But again, everything is here. It's saved. Every morning note is recorded, so you can watch. Every recap is recorded on IGTV. So feel free to give us a follow there. Again, free of charge. And if you don't like it, we totally get it. And if you do, great. Give us a like. As always, fun stuff. All right, let's talk about it. Dow futures down 164 points. NASDAQ down 0.40%, down 52 points. S&P futures down about 20. Russell 2000 down about half, 0.55%. Bitcoin futures take a big bump up, 8.7%. We'll talk about that here in a second. Crude futures down 0.21%, was green. Now is retesting the 200-day on the hourly. Gold is down 0.54%. Let's see. Silver futures down 1%. Bonds basically flat, but green. Bond prices, that means yields are down. VIX is up 8.7% at 2050. And copper is down 0.8%. Euro dollar down to about 7 pips, 117.85, and 107.90 for the dollar yen, up about 3 pips for my Forex people. Okay, so what I want to talk about today, I'm pretty sure you've probably read the news on Twitter this morning. I was reading the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg first thing this morning, as I usually do. And there was I usually noticed we had some volatility last week, and it's a lot of selling. And obviously we had that pump right at the end at 3 o'clock, which was nice, a nice way to end the week. But there is something deeper. A lot of people are not seeing that. We were actually seeing it over the weekend, but we actually got in more details courtesy of Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. Apparently, there was a hedge fund that got margin called. So this is where it gets interesting. They had, how do I explain this? Make it easy so everyone doesn't get confused. So let's say you have a hedge fund and you want to buy a certain amount of shares in a company. Once you get above a certain percentage of owned in the company, let's say you own X amount of shares of Ford and you own over 10% of the company, big stake, you need to file with the SEC saying that you own that much shares. Well, there's ways around it. You can use swaps and CFDs, insurance contracts and everything like that. That's where it gets kind of fuzzy. Well, there was a hedge fund that had very heavy positions, which were not disclosed because they're via swaps and CFDs. Well, SEC doesn't know that, so again, they're kind of in the dark. Problem is that they were highly leveraged. What does leverage mean? Borrowed money. Wow, are you getting flashbacks from 2008? Because I am. Basically, in regards to these companies that were highly leveraged. Well, the problem is that these leverage bets or these trades went the wrong way, and this hedge fund had to liquidate their positions in certain stocks and certain swaps and CFDs. Take a look at Viacom. VIAC, a pretty stable company for the most part, Viacom CVS. And you could see, I'll go ahead and open this up here for you guys. This is what happened to Viacom. all this was all those shares being liquidated to cover the margin calls for this hedge fund. The hedge fund name, if you want to, I'll bring it up on Twitter for you. I have to go ahead and read the actual name because I always forget the name. I talked about it on Instagram as well. Let's see, it is Bill Wang's, but I forget the name of the actual. Let's see, the actual. It's called, well, it's ex-Tiger Management, Bill Wang. But what is his name of his company, of his hedge fund? I have it here on Wall Street Journal. The name of the actual hedge fund is called Archeos. I'm gonna mispronounce that. Archeos Capital Management. It was run by former Tiger Asia manager Bill Wang, and it triggered a liquidation of positions approaching $30 billion in value. And it was really two major ones. It was Viacom and it was Discovery. Look at Viacom here, down about 55% from the highs. And then you have Discovery. This is Discovery Networks. And you can see that big drop from about almost 80 to 42. And that's about 47% fall. That's all liquidation of his position. The problem is that the guy, or the actual hedge fund, had a lot of leverage positions in CFDs and return swaps, so insurance contracts. Think of Big Short. Well, the bets went the wrong way, and he had to liquidate his positions, which affected the underlying asset, which are the stocks as well. But he actually owned these stocks, and he had to get out of these stocks and sell them all and liquidate using prime brokers like Credit Suisse, Nomura, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. Those guys had the money owed to them. They had to sell those assets in order to raise cash. This is why Nomura was down overnight, nearly 12%. This is why Credit Suisse was down nearly 10% in European trade. Credit Suisse is part of Switzerland, and Nomura is a Japanese bank, and we know Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are American. So financials are taking a little bit of a hit due to this because of now the actual pressure is on the banks of how much do these hedge funds, how levered are these hedge funds? Are they protected? Are they hedged? I mean, now we're starting to see that, okay, are these swaps to the point that they're not capable of holding on to these? Do they have the assets to cover these kind of margin calls? And again, the saying goes, if you owe the bank $20,000, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $20 million or $200 million, that's the bank's problem. And that's where we have an issue. Now, what's reported is that Goldman Sachs says it's not really that big a deal. It doesn't really affect them as much as Nomura. Nomura has a $2 billion issue, and Credit Suisse is not defined exactly how much their exposure is, but obviously the stock is not doing well because of it. So again, why is this important? Well, if you're a Discovery shareholder, if you're a CVS Viacom shareholder and your stock fell, you're probably saying to yourself, what the hell just happened? Well, guys, hedge funds are a big part of the financial system, especially with stocks. If you're a trader, again, it's a lot of volatility. If you're an investor of these names, you're probably thinking to yourself, what do I do? Well, again, if it's a one-off thing, fine. But the question, really the underlying question is, will this continue? How many hedge funds are exposed to highly levered bets? Again, you have low interest rates, a lot of easy money policies. And again, in 2020 was very strong for hedge funds and investors because of the bounce back from the COVID lows in March. But again, it's all about how much leverage they have. And that's the scary part. We don't know if they're the only game in town that was caught, or the only game in town that ran out of assets to cover, or the only one that are doing these kind of swaps. So again, could the Biden administration or government try to regulate this, dark pools, hedge funds, CFDs, and swaps in order to stabilize the market? Possibly. But this does show one thing and one thing alone: the lack of liquidity out there. That's what's really scary, is the lack of liquidity. Does that mean the market's going to tank tomorrow? No. Or today? I don't think so. But again, if you're in the hedge fund world and you're starting to see what's going on, that's kind of the problem out there. So again, the lack of liquidity is a pretty scary thing, especially after we pumped trillions into the system. So again, maybe not good enough, but in a macro sense, we're really only 35 points from all-time highs on E-mini futures. So take it as you want, but again, it's something to look into. Let's see if we get continuing selling in certain names. Chinese tech names also took a big hit. Baidu took a big hit, and Tencent took a big hit, but now they're bouncing today. So with that being said, we're going to go into pre-market movers here. Pre-market movers, Tencent, again, is up about 8% pre-market. IQ, pretty much flat. Viacom down 4%. GSX down 3.23%. That's where we are. Let's go to the Dow again. Apple's basically flat. Boeing, they got some plane buys from Southwest Airlines, good sign. JP Morgan again down 1.35%. Just the financial sector, nothing to do with JPM. They're not a prime broker of that hedge fund. Goldman Sachs, they are a prime broker of that hedge fund, down 2.27%. So again, banks are going to take a little bit of a hit here. Discovery basically flat. American Airlines up 0.70%. They had a nice note this morning saying about their increased demand in travel for international and domestic. And of course, we talked about Boeing. Tesla's down 0.88%. We're going to go about here in a second. There's a couple of downgrades and upgrades I want to talk about before we answer some questions. And then let's see here on the NASDAQ. Facebook up 0.47% on a price upgrade. Baidu's up 0.67% on a stock buyback. Facebook was also price upgraded as well. They're up 0.47% this morning. So let's go ahead and talk about the pre-market. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at some pre-market, some upgrades and downgrades. Some ones that stand out this morning, I sent this over to our members. G.A.R Capital upgrades Baidu from hold to buy. Let's see what else. Twitter. Truist Securities upgrades to buy from hold. Their price target is 74. This is Twitter. Viacom, G.A.R Capital, BMO upgrades Viacom after this big sell-off from sell to hold and from underperform to market perform. Again, you have that much of a discount, right? And then we also have Walmart that was downgraded by Itaú BBA to underperform from market perform. Initiations, DocuSign was initiated by Dow Securities, initiates it as a buy, price target of 239. And Ford and GM were price upgraded by Jefferies this morning. Ford was price upgraded from 14 to 16, GM from 50 to 62. L Brands was also price upgraded from 64 to 67 by Credit Suisse. Lululemon was price target cut from 490 to 478. Tesla was also cut by Jefferies. So again, they are bullish, Ford and GM, and they're a little bearish or less bullish on Tesla. Their price target was cut from 775 to 700. So that's where we are. Let's see here. What else? Okay, so we got our pre-market movers in. A couple of headlines here I want to go over with you, and then we'll answer some questions. DraftKings and WWE, that's the wrestling company, enter a historic new deal. Let me see if I can get the details for you. So it looks like DraftKings and WWE, ticker WWE, today announced that DraftKings will become an official gaming partner of WWE, subject to regulatory approval in all applicable jurisdiction. The collaboration centers on DraftKings' popular free-to-play pools product and will launch with an inaugural free-to-play pool on WWE's two-night pop culture extravaganza, WrestleMania, on April 10th and 11th. So basically, it is an agreement with WWE. DraftKings will receive an exclusive license to media assets and in-game branding for WWE pay-per-view events. Additionally, WWE fans and DraftKings customers will be able to participate in a number of integrated free-to-play pools and contests and products and experience digital promotion and integration. The only thing that's kind of funny about this is WWE, again, I used to watch wrestling growing up, so this is kind of close to me. It's actually preset. You know, people say wrestling is fake. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this. It is. It's predetermined. So you really can't bet on it with DraftKings, or maybe you have fantasy sports. But maybe they have some free-to-play thing like they're talking about here. Maybe it's more of a promotional thing. That's what they're saying here. But anything in regards to sports, WWE technically isn't a sport because it's predetermined and it's sports entertainment. So it'd be interesting to say what exactly that means. But Stephanie McMahon says, we're excited to enter this new agreement that makes DraftKings WWE's first ever free-to-play gaming partner. This collaboration marks a significant step in deepening engagement with our passionate fans and will provide DraftKings the opportunity to leverage the massive appeal and reach of the WWE brand. I think it's good for both. I like DraftKings long term, of course, one of our top 10 of 2021. And again, WWE is kind of cool in a sense that, obviously with COVID, they don't do the live events anymore. Everything is on television. But still, DraftKings is expanding their brand. Also, the NFL expanded their regular season one more week to 18 weeks. That's good for DraftKings. That's good for sports betting because it gives the degenerate gamblers one more week to bet on sports and fantasy players one more week to have fun. DraftKings price target was upgraded by Goldman Sachs from 79 to 87. So, good stuff. All right, tons of stuff. All right, tons of stuff. Good morning. Yes. Also, one more piece of news, and I forgot. It's about Bitcoin. I'll read it to you right now. Bitcoin and Visa are working together. Bitcoin jumps as Visa is reportedly said to allow payment settlements using cryptocurrency. I'll explain exactly what that means. Visa is said that on Monday it will allow the use of cryptocurrency USD coin to settle transactions on its payment network. The report headline may be a bit of a stretch since it only covers USDC. However, Visa's acceptance of the stable coin in general, that one is pegged to the US dollar and runs on Ethereum and Algorand blockchain, is a positive sign for the rest of the cryptocurrency at least. Bitcoin jumped. Now it's at 58,470. Excuse me, on the futures market. So headlines did push this thing up. Ethereum is up as well. So I can get you the exact quote on Ethereum and Bitcoin, which I own both. And I can get this up. Ethereum is up 4.73% at 1770, and Bitcoin is at 57,881 on the cash settle price right now. So what does that mean in general? That means cryptocurrency is obviously going mainstream. And I believe that cryptocurrency is really just scratching the surface. I would say about 20, I want to say exactly, I did my portfolio set up for our investment club. And in crypto, my portfolio, I have 26.37% of crypto. Crypto allocation in my portfolio is 26%. So basically, a quarter of my portfolio, asset portfolio, is crypto. That's Bitcoin, Ethereum, such and so on and so forth. So again, that's how I invest. But again, long term is the way to go. I do see that Bitcoin in April gets a big boost, and we should be able to test 70,000 by then. So if anyone wants to ask my opinion. All right, good morning. Ari says, good morning, man. Kim says, BTC will be higher today or pull back after the BTC news. No, it's going to continue to go. And it's looking very, very solid. Ethereum as well. Adding more Clove. Let's see Clove. Again, Clove is a SPAC. And Clove is basically that $7.30. My ad price is $6.04. Let's take a look at IWM. Yeah, IWM is down slightly because of Russell 2000 futures. It was down nearly 1%, but it is bouncing here. And there is a gap. Well, the gap was filled overnight to 220.43. Again, it's above the Fibonacci level that I put on the hourly, so it's looking still solid. Views on Apple and football. Still love Apple long term, but pretty much a sideways price action currently. Nothing to do there. And football right now is up pre-market. Again, momentum has been taking a little bit of a hit so far. Again, it would be nice to see that if we could take out that 50-day moving average of 25.72. I'm still a long-term holder on it. If football dips below 18.89, I'll be buying more. Excited for a short week. Thank you so much. The short week, again, Friday the markets are closed. So again, if you are trading this week, think of it this way. Today is Tuesday. So if you're doing anything for this week, it'd have to be today. If you trade tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday, it better be for next week. Again, watch out for lower volumes as we start tailing into the Easter holiday. What's a good price to add Amazon holding? Amazon has been absolutely sideways. Nothing to do there, but I have a 28.65 price target to buy more. Good morning, Carlos. What is the support level for Citi? What is a good price to add shares? On Citi, let me go ahead and bring up a daily again because you're asking an investment question on what I would do. I would say right around 68.59 would be decent, but probably your best bet is 66 because that is the 50-day moving average on the daily. There was another question here. XLF and Riot. Riot should be up due to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as well. There are pre-market 51.25. Would like to see a break of this 100-day moving average first, but before you even trade it, 56 should be your target, 56.68, and then you could take a look at 60. XLF, again, you're going to get a little bit of a pullback on financials today due to the issue with that hedge fund and their liquidation and their margin calls. So again, just be careful on XLF right now. It should be kind of taken care of here in a little bit as they're selling more shares of Discovery and Viacom to cover. But right now, we're just really testing the 50-day moving average. Yeah, there are GA.R Capital. Yep, I went ahead and put that information on Twitter. Take a look at it. Anything on your radar regarding to ARKX ETF? Again, I have to take a look at the volume, but nothing really. I think it's ARKK. Nothing really there in regards to trading the options on it. I haven't seen a lot of options movement. So again, I really don't trade this name. Do you think VIC is a good buy? If you're looking short term for a trade, possibly yes. But again, you better have the stomach for the swings. So again, yeah, I mean, Viacom and Discovery should be a smart move to buy and just hold, maybe for less than a year. Again, your capital gains tax will be a little higher if it's a trade. Would I do options on it? No. NEO. Looking at NEO here, NEO has been basically kind of just been retesting these this support level here of 38 to 35. And again, I'm still loving it long term. My break level is 30, but I wouldn't trade anything right now. There's nothing really to do there. Peltier, which I love long term. PLTR. PLTR just hugging the 50-day moving average. I'm not expecting much here until we break 23 to 24. And nothing with calls yet. Nope. Melly. Melly is 1431.97. Nothing really going on there. And again, you're just at the 50-day moving average. So, I mean, pretty much in limbo. So I wouldn't touch anything. Mercado Libre. Oh, the ARKX Space ETF. What's funny about ARKK, and a lot of people have asked me about it regarding the investment club, a lot of their stocks I already own. So I wouldn't see the need to go ahead and invest in Kathy Wood's ETF. Anyways, I know you're a fan of Blink. Do you like ChargePoint as well? Yeah, I have no problem with ChargePoint. I just prefer Blink personally. They had a really great quarter in regards to revenue. Revenue was great. EPS was down. Again, they're still a growing company. And HD, absolutely on fire. We own this stock. It is down pre-market. I had it on my watch list last week, but there was no volume and the spread was wide. YouTube video members will tell you. I was watching HD very closely, but the spread was ugly and there was very low volume on it. And I wish I would have traded it, obviously, but it just wasn't the setup there in order to trade it because of the spread. But as a shareholder of Home Depot, Lowe's, and D.R. Horton, our investment club's members have seen that housing has been doing very, very excellent, and the sector is continuing to pop up higher. Snow, again, I don't own Snow. I'm not interested in Snow. It is a cloud-based company. I think there's better options out there. You have Salesforce.com, you have Amazon, Microsoft, and of course, Adobe. I think those four are probably your best bet, the Cloud Kings currently. I think Snow is just a little too expensive in terms of valuation. I'd skip it. So again, this is the last one here. Tech companies, wrong choice right now with rising yields. No, it's... Again, the yields, people say there's a correlation there. There's a correlation with sharp yield movement, but not correlation directly with yields. So again, if you get a 50 basis point pop on yields, obviously the market's going to be affected. But if you're getting just a 2, 5, 10 point move on yields, tech is not affected. What you're getting is you're getting a rotation out of momentum that were the high flyers of 2020. Again, valuation is a little stretched for some investors, and they're getting into value, banks and tanks, as we talked about materials, industrials, the financials, and of course, energy, and going from there. So we'll go ahead and leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I'll go ahead and catch you guys later on today for our market recap on Instagram. Make sure to give us a follow. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications as always, and follow us on Twitter for all market commentary as we go along. Have a great rest of your morning. We'll catch you guys later.